That title is kind of like anti-clickbait, gathered thoughts to express by spirit. That's what I'm going to do, though, to my best of my ability, to people, in my familia, my family. I'm realizing more and more that this is not our home. Most of the people are not our family. Know what's going on. There's something going on. It's the blood moon thing. It's happening on what's that day? Pi 314, March 14th, blood moon. I feel something's coming on. I feel like I've got the fair use disclaimer out of the way. We got some other pictures. We got to just keep it rolling here. Peek at the thing there. Am I sharing? I better double check. Was I sharing the screen? Hola Luther, ¿qué pasa? It looks like I was. If I wasn't sharing, then I don't know how. We're looking at these pictures. King James, right at the reset. I think his was the bad part of it. I don't think Christians that claiming to hate witches surrounds himself with these girls that won't look in his. He's got that. What is it, Strambusis? They don't want to look him in the eye. Here, you hold the skull for me, girl. I'm busy. This is all just weird. It's all too weird. That looks like an eyeball. Weirdness. So there's King James and his mommy, and that they marked the year for you there. We got a few. I want to just go over it. There's something going on with the evil eye, man? The weak eye. I don't know what it is, but I'm not in the mood for it. So far, it's the pandemic thing. The 13th century, it killed half the people. They want people to be on Al Jazeera. They're saying flatten the curve, man. They got it figured out now. Let's jump in on these pictures from today. General mania for Valentine's, changing the wording of Valentine's. This is the Jefferson Education Society. I didn't give it a thumbs up, but this is how they make their money. They get grants and they teach things, and they teach about. Do you know that when they invented the postage stamp, and we just learned about this in the United States, they were using it for change as money. Only the rich people sent Valentines in 1845. Somebody said, we got to get this new definition of what Valentine is about love your neighbor. It went from 60,000 in 1835. They lowered the price. They invented a penny stamp. It's called the penny black. I didn't know that. 400,000 were sold by 1841. 1.2 million 30 years later for a penny. The WPA sometimes took over state and local relief programs that had originated in the Reconstruction Finance Corporation or Federal Emergency Relief Administration programs. Okay, well, that's what the WPA took over in 1943 because our world was falling apart. It was a reset. Let's go the other way. So, Wellness Wednesday, today was the day. Here's the girl that lied to my face, Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Savala DeVoe. Come by and, let's get all the free contraceptives you need. Valley Wide Health System will be at the Health and Wellness Resource Center in the sub. 2 hours to answer your questions and provide information. If he's ready to roll, make sure you're in control. Girls, wear your rubber. Hey, look, this guy. Ever hear? I know you heard of the Jeffrey Epstein, but now 3 hours ago, this guy was in the news on the Drudge Report. He's a famous. He's the one who published Against All Odds, man. In the face, he was only a podcaster or something, and he broke the story on Bill Clinton had semen stains where he ejaculated and some spilled out of Monica Lewinsky onto her dress, and he lied about it. But he didn't get impeached because he's a lawyer, and he argued what the meaning of the word is, as if he was ever alone, and did he really lie? Lost his legal license, didn't get impeached, stayed in power. His wife ran for president. This man referred to Epstein as Uncle Jeffrey in email to his daughter. Yeah, you can go with Uncle Jeffrey. It's okay. 3 hours ago, his world changed. This is the daughter. Jeffrey Epstein got her a job. Welcome. This is 2019 before he hung himself on a 2 foot prison bed because there's no bunk beds. He just hung himself right there on the bunk. Just threw himself down enough to hang himself. Cameras were off. They say that the people were bribed. This is that guy's daughter that, yeah, hey, Uncle Jeffrey's got you hooked up. So she's a physicist turned startup enthusiast. Man, working cross functionally, making technical design decisions, writing code. This thing won a Pulitzer Prize that she worked on. Spoiler alert. She loves solving the impossible problems and working on novel projects. As always, I can't wait to keep learning. Her dad was super best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, although he denied it and said, we're not close. So there's his daughter. I looked up Alexa Staley, and it just looked like, they throw up the pictures of other people that you might be interested in looking at. That, oh, you like the looks of that girl? Well, what young boy wouldn't? You know. And then I thought to myself, it looks like they've got here's an engineering alumni. They got her targeted. Aviation, sustainable, work experience in Bosnia, scientists for, here's 50 founders, let's get tipping. Well, here's a girl that, look, man, we're making it sustainable. She's a celebrity. This doctor, she's on the fast track program, and I think they have kind of a look they look for. They're looking for that look. They're looking for that look. Here's what she said. She's in the Pulitzer Prize winning movie about the Pulitzer Prize winning LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. That's what LIGO stands for. That's what Jeffrey Epstein, she called him uncle. Her dad called him uncle. She gets interviewed in the thing. There she is. She made it into the Pulitzer Prize. What does the announcement mean in terms of your understanding of the universe? Well, Alexa says, the discovery does many things. For one, gravitational waves were predicted by Einstein about 100 years ago and have never been directly detected until now. Wow. This is from 2013 or something like that. Am I done with the pictures? Really? That's it? Oh, well. I hope that you could see those pictures. You know I like bananas. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. So here's what we got to march down. I saw a movie from 1958, Monaco. You know, I had to check it out. These quirky foreign movies, it was too quirky for me. So, but I did at the end. If you want to know how hard it is to tear down an old mud flood building, and they were still doing it around the world, and how come the aqueducts in the Erie Canal are still up, even though they had people for years under contract to destroy them, couldn't do it. This guy's got a jackhammer. He's jackhammering. This guy is just, I guess it's part of the plot, but break off the stucco on the outside, and it's a brick that you can't break. Typical wall. Get it, boys. Okay, that must be the car. That must be part of the movie. Quirky, huh? So did you see him breaking it? Look at this weird stuff. What's going on at 58? Weird. Oh, technology.
Merci. Ça va marcher, vous allez voir. Bien sûr.
Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, I just wanted you to see the one part where they're breaking it out. I really just was going to tune into Al Jazeera just to say, this is the world's news. The MSNBC, our mainstream media, ladies and gentlemen, get your mind around the fact that we're North Korea to the world now. And we use North Korea type propaganda to keep us going. In 1840, we took a little trip. We know all about history. Go, Andrew Jackson, you murderous, racist fiend. You Freemasons, Rosicrucian, lying scumbags that God hates. So, typical thing here. What did I notice right off the bat? I could take that down. Something, is this like a Marvel? I see an eyeball and a nose. It's definitely got something. Something. What do you got to say, girl? They need, the world needs confirmation on something. Let's get a,
or at least that question around the trust is justifiable.
Absolutely. I mean, for me personally, I'm a scientist, so I'm always questioning everything around me. And I personally think there can never be too much concern over US regulations or what companies are doing, since, food has to be sold and there is a profit incentive to it. That muddies the waters quite a bit. I think a safe food system is always a work in progress. And I can acknowledge, too, that our food system has wronged people in the past, and I can completely understand a level of mistrust, but
I like it. What's this in Al Jazeera? This is what the world isn't in slums like they would have us believe. America is about to be in the slums. Europe is about to be. The world is going to take revenge on the white people that colonized and did all of this. I am sorry. This is a judgment. It's not a restoration. It's not like we're going to make America great again for white people. We're going to kick all the immigrants out, make everybody speak English, and everything will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Nobody's going to cheat
This book is an
anymore.
Arabic manuscript.
Man, that was a long, dragged out, boring.
Bunker Hill and later Dorchester Heights, which compelled.
What? This guy designed those things? The Corps of Engineers. So right when we got started in the reset, it's a big fake. Get your Phrygian caps. Get your Hellfire Club. Get your Freemasons. Get the people stirred up. We got to cover up something. It's a cover up. who knows when George Washington, George Washington has a better chance of being Herod the Great from the Bible than he does about what they say he did in America. Yeah, he probably existed at some time. We just don't know when.
Army in 1775, it included a chief engineer and 2 assistants. The first chief engineer was Colonel Richard Gridley.
Okay, we'll look at him. What did he do?
This occurred on March 11th, 1779.
Oh, wow, that's just from yesterday. So he designed all this guy.
In 1802, the Military Peace Establishment Act was
Military peace establishment. We're establishing peace by the military. We got off right on the right foot. Who's shaving these guys every day? It's so important to them. They didn't want to be bearded men.
passed under President Thomas Jefferson. The act was designed to define the U.S. military, but among its purposes was to establish a school for engineers that would allow
So that's this is what they're going to say. They built all the star forts.
established a corps of engineers as it exists today and directed them to be stationed at West Point in New York, where they were to establish an academy for engineers.
And it was a star fort, baby. So they went on to design star forts. Everybody.
So many officers in the Civil War, including Robert E. Lee and George Gordon Meade, whose armies faced each other in the pivotal June 1863 Battle of Gettysburg, began their military careers as engineers.
Wow. We'll get some more here. Could they build this? This guy, he climbs up it, man. Look at that. 40 views. I gave him a thumbs up.
In this video, I'll be exploring the aqueducts of Kizilchulu, located right in the middle of Izmir. This historic water structure was built by the Romans during the reign of Emperor Augustus. Over the years, the Byzantines, Seljuks, and
So that's
Ottomans
what they were saying is the time of Jesus.
maintained and used the aqueducts as it
Just
was
got
a vital
hit by the
resource.
Armageddon.
And now I'm going to take a look and see what's left. Hope you enjoy.
Cool. Whoa, dude, be careful. Whoa, he is right up there on top of it. There's another part of it in the background there. That's how you do it. Set your camera down, get up there and do it.
Yeah, no way was it going to go on top of that second one. I mean, this one is much bigger and looks a bit cooler, but there's just a couple of spots where it's really thin up the top of the archway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Got a little drone out. I mean, the world is fighting. I like one of these questions. It's like, how do you keep getting to this places? And he goes, I literally just parked on the side of the hill. Nobody cares around here. Just another guy looking at something is like, if you're around it every day, it's kind of like it's old news. So here's one of those guys mentioned from the Corps of Engineers, and supposedly Gridley married Hannah Deming in 1730. They had 9 children. He served as a military engineer, French and Indian Wars, from the reduction of Fort Louisburg. Okay. Well, that's a pretty big star fort right there. It's tourist. 17th century French fortress in Louisburg, Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay. All right. That's not Europe, but it could be French. So he did it. And he was a colonel during at another star fort. We'll look at that one. He had a failed expedition. But they have to do it. So they said that this guy Gridley, was made chief engineer, laid out the defenses on Breed's Hill. Okay. Got wounded at the Battle of Bunker Hill. Directed the construction at Dorchester Heights. I believe we'll look at that. They found all of these things. You got to know it, and that this is faked. How hard is it to find a statue and just put on it a guy's name and go, yeah, he's the first chief engineer. He did it. Or maybe at the turn of the AD, there was a guy that they did it. But anyway, here's that Dorchester. They said he did it up there in Canada. This is a map of it. That's Boston. Now that I'm looking at it, why are they showing? Oh, here's Dorchester Neck. So where's the star fort? What did he design? He was friends of George Washington. That's enough to get him this little monument, put his name on it. Support the IRA. Did they leave the T off of that? They must have been in a hurry. So anyway, this is all fake, right? It's, you gotta believe, oh yeah, that's what they do. It was such a good engineer for George Washington. Let's build it up later. So here's that other. This is just the small one. He learned about this. It's a French fort built on Lake Champlain from the American Revolutionary War. If they showed West Point, it's a star fort too. Now, really, is it me alone that can say, no, they found it all? They're faking this history. We know it, and they have it built up. This was all about, remember we started with a girl that got a job working on a Pulitzer Prize winning thing that's going to prove they found gravity waves because Uncle Jeffrey Epstein got her a job and this guy worked for Barclays. That's a big bank, man. That's not even one of his biggest friends. His biggest friend was from Lex Wexner or something like that. This had something to do with mathematical tables when Uncle Sam played patron of the arts. This had that I can't remember his name right now. We're going to move on. Here's your slave narrative collection. This was one of the things we didn't cover this morning that they did. In the 1930s, they collected all the history and said, here's everything we know about black people. We're going to treat them as equal and act like, well, we were racist, Ku Klux Klan, believed you could measure ahead. We're totally down with Darwinism and eugenics, but we're going to be rewriting our history, introducing Denzel Washington eventually. So that's how they did that. The Mathematical Tables Project, that was another one where they just hired 450. There was nobody working. They all went to school, and then the stock market crashed in 29. By 38, there's still 450 educated, tabulating higher mathematical functions that wrote the 28-volume set that's still used by Columbia today with your trigonometric functions, exponential functions, logarithm. It sounds like survey. It's what you're going to do for surveying. This history was led by Gertrude Blanche, an American mathematician who pioneered it. Well, they had to get a girl in there somehow. She had just finished, and she got put in charge of 450 people. Dang, girl. That's when they say, you go, girl. So they did it. These guys did it. They had it all figured out. When? Well, when they started rewriting the history, World War II. Here's a Charles Pollock. He was one of the administrators for the how to do it, how to paint. Let's paint our world. They painted kind of weird stuff, if you ask me. I guess you get paid free reign to paint what you want. Get to work, you guys. So the story of Venice, that's kind of weird, right? It's a roller coaster. It's an oil field. It's Venice. This is in the post office in Venice, Los Angeles. So this is the story of California. I see a snake wrapping around. I believe that the throne of Satan after the reset was right there in Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills, Laurel Canyon. That's how you make toilet paper right there, I guess. So they got paid to do it. Everybody got paid to do something because our government was broke and they had to make it work. So they did. I'm going to get back to that Staley girl, the ex-Barclay boss. Jess Staley sent an email to his daughter referring to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein as Uncle Jeffrey. Allegations that he played down his ties to the late financier. But, they keep proving it, saying, here's their defense. This is an invasion of my privacy to ask me about these things. There's emails. Can you help my daughter at this university? Maybe get her a job at a Pulitzer Prize winning thing, put her in a movie? Yeah, well, that doesn't mean that we're close. I think there's an invasion of my family here, and I resent it, he said after seeing emails in which he appeared to have shared his daughter's academic scores with Epstein's, open quote. This exposure of my daughter is really important to you, close quote. Staley added under questioning from Lee Ann McKay. She goes like, oh, so this is just so important to you, like, right? What, my daughter, huh? You care about my daughter. Well, you saw the girl. She had the look. I'm not saying that she was one of the girls, but I'm saying she had to know something was up. He's 68 years old. This happened today, 3 hours ago when I pulled it up. So probably about 5 hours now. It's happening fast, people. It's happening fast. I looked up cross-eye. I wanted to see, maybe like Leah had weak eye, cross-eye. It's this word, strabismus. They say it's nothing. I know that my mother-in-law had it, and my wife wouldn't let me tell people that her father got fired and I took his job. Had to go like that, right? Or my wife would have divorced me and I wouldn't be able to see my kids. And she claimed she was going to just say all kinds of mean things, which she did anyway, which is why the judge, when I finally let her divorce me on paper, the judge gave me 60% in a state where it's 50-50. It's amazing. But her mother has this and it bothers her. Anyway, we'll get to it. I'm looking at something. This is the protein. This is the strabismus protein, not this. Strabismus, this. That's coming up. We'll get back to it. The protein. It's originally identified as something in a fruit fly. Everything uses Drosophila type to do it. Involved in plantar cell, a group of signal transduction pathways which begin with proteins that pass signals into a cell through a cell surface receptor. Okay. Some of these genes have altered development in their eyes. Vertebrates who have 2 of these, and they only have one highlighted, that's the one we're looking at, they call it the Van Gogh. The amino acid sequence and localization studies for strabismus protein indicate that it is a membrane protein. Prickle is another protein in the plantar cell polarity signaling pathway. Okay. Pickle is recruited to the cell surface membrane by that protein. Concentrated at the cell surface on the most proximal site. Involved in the migration of group cells during embryogenesis. In humans, if they get this one that they don't talk about, have been associated with neural tube defects, including spinal bifida. I have a sister-in-law that had a baby born with trisomy 13, which I think is much worse than spinal bifida. But so that gene is passed along some forms of cancer, and including hepatocellular carcinoma. Huh. So anyway, good thing we didn't confuse it with this, because this thing, loss of depth perception, there's a lot of people. Some are born like this. And I think some hate God, because to them it's like, well, it's not like a cleft palate or something. It's a defect. You could say, okay, you can't be a priest in the Old Testament. That's a defect. Is this a defect? They say it's a muscle thing, but usually they just deny it. They don't want to act. They don't want to go get the surgery. They just want to keep acting like everything's good. I'm funny. I'm smart. I'm a spy. I'm a movie star. I'm a cleric. I'm a mummy. It can happen to anybody. But the problem is, how are you going to relate to it? Now, these people of all ages, have psychosocial difficulties, One study showed that children commonly exhibit behaviors marked by higher degrees of inhibition, anxiety, emotional distress, outright emotional disorders. Something where you could tell, don't tell me that my husband got fired. He's my man. And he was so bad. So bad. But anyway, this girl, what did she say? So she's featured in the documentary LIGO, A Passion for Understanding. Why wouldn't she be? I mean, the discovery means so much to her. How does it feel to be a part of such an historic event? They asked her in the follow-up interview about the movie. I'm so fortunate to have been a part of this historic event. Thanks to my Uncle Jeffrey and my dad, who I guess was banging everything that wasn't nailed down. He's pleaded guilty to that, but his wife forgived him, I guess. Great day for collaboration. Happy to be a part of 1,000 scientists, but not everybody got in the movie. It all goes back to optical tricks, stability loops, impressive suspension systems, massive near vacuum chambers. Sounds like outer space, a near vacuum that can get penetrated all the time. So what does it do to our understanding of the universe? Well, Einstein, he got it figured out. So everybody just loves it because now they can measure waves of gravity trying to, was there some sort of a curve or something? I just saw this guy today. I thought it was good. I gave him a listen.
Jeremiah 29:14. The most logical aggressors are the same colonial nations that stole the land and identity of the Israelites in the first place. In contrast, Russia, often singled out in the popular prophecy circles, lacks many of these qualifications. Russia did not build a maritime empire or lead a global coalition to colonize Africa. Geographically, Russia is northeast, but parts of Britain and France lie due north of the true Jerusalem in what is today known as Ethiopia. Culturally, Russia never embraced Gog and Magog imagery for themselves. If anything, during the Cold War, Western authors branded Russia as Magog, while Russians were largely unaware of the label.
Right. See, because he starts off going over this stuff. It's England and the Gog and Magog.
Guardians of the City of London. The giants even featured in the Lord Mayor's show, carried as giant wicker figures named Gog and Magog at the head of the procession. British culture thus appropriated Gog and Magog as part of its own origin story. Mighty foes from whom the British claimed victory and legitimacy. The very names Gog and Magog became
Something's up. And I think it's all starting with a storm. Let's see what my algorithm. Are we storming anywhere in right now? Is there what's going on in the world? I don't see any storms. What's China doing? Hardly recognize Canada anymore. I don't think they're giving me all of the live stuff. What's going on in France? What are you talking about?
Death Squad.
Duterte was arrested as he got off a plane from Hong Kong. He had been there campaigning for his upcoming bid to run for a mayor of Davao.
Well, they're arresting politicians
Look at Buenos Aires, where the unlikely
overseas.
pensioners and
The tip of the iceberg. Authorities say hundreds may have been killed here.
We started finding clothes from the very beginning, piles of clothes. We found shoes. This was something that went viral because it was compared to some historical photos from wars.
I think we better get ready to a lot of stories like this about Ukraine, how many people they say are dying over there. Again, you've probably all seen the things. And how good is it to know that, you know,
Was Jesus telling the truth when he said that?
that there's a Dutch speaking channel that's, you know,
Of the governments right now, who are the Satanists presenting themselves as the angels.
basically teaching Golden Age past theology, like Flat Earth Nation, Golden Age past, what the Lord brought to mind. Just keep moving along. Here's some. This is that LEGO, the Pulitzer Prize winning thing. I don't know what is that. It looks like something for baling hay. So I don't know what's going on here, but this is their proof, simplified diagram of what they got going. They got a beam splitter, a photo detector, a lot of fancy suspension. They said near gravity long tubes, and here's their proof. Right, its sensitivity is around 500 hertz. It's got the quantum noise figure, the gravity gradients. Ooh, I see the gravity gradient moved a little bit right here. Quantum radiating pressure noise. Sure, you got it all figured out. This is 3 pictures I'll put together as one. This panoramic, nice picture of it. It's located in the United States. Thanks. There it is. It's in the middle of nowhere, but, you know, at least he felt his daughter was safe for a while. If she was out there, actually, I don't know. Who knows? So Jess Staley, he did it. Today he got caught. But on the February 2013 in Celebrity, this is what was known about him. Better known as Jess, James is, American banker. He's a celebrity born in 1956, 2 days after Christmas. Joined Morgan Guaranteed Trust, worked there for 9 years, worked in the Latin American division. Founding member at JP Morgan's Equity, and I think JP Morgan is in on that Epstein stuff. Worked there for 30 years, and then he joined Blue Mountain Capital. Jess Staley, Sophia Staley, and Alexa Staley are children of Jess. Although Alexa and Sophia are celebrity children, their details are not known. Wow. But here's your stories of the day. See all their houses. So this is and here's how academia makes money. 1,000 subscribers, Cambridge Museum of Technology. This is money from a grant Studio Tech, Film Studios, ERC Advanced Grant, Film Studios, Infrastructure, Culture, Innovations in Britain. So, along with her salary, Professor Sarah Street was given some extra money, and she had to do something with it. So she had a crew make a movie that I am number 53 that watched it. 3 people have bothered to like it, but she doesn't care. She got the advanced grant to say, yeah, they made movies.
Archives and libraries. We located a vast amount of visual documentation, including original architectural plans, giving precise spatial dimensions, which informed the development of our unique VR experience that you'll see.
Yeah, boy, where would we be without these smart people?
Subject matter, providing a means of exploring how VR can be used in 4 different ways to showcase.
Wow.
Amy Stone, who created our VR experience, was mostly able to capture shots from these points, but she had to move slightly due to trees, vehicles, etc.
She's the head of that school there in Cambridge that teaches how to make films. And then with some extra money, well, you got to spend it.
Today is the lab building, designed by the famous German architect Walter Gropius, founder of the Bauhaus. And we see some images of the labs here. Now, Richard's going to talk more about
just watching them.
Historic plans also allowed us to compare studio.
You know, just lie and make money. The last one here is the thing. I don't know if I should have used it. Welcome. I'm a physicist turned startup enthusiast. Going to my other. I really don't know what this one is for. I just had this sent to me today. I'm supposed to read it or do something. It's that water. You know, I thought it was going to be like a study of water, structured water, Schauberger. Instead, it's all the laws of the Rio Grande water. And it goes back to the people that get the priorities, you know, to when it was appropriated back in the 1800s. This is still in play everywhere in Colorado. And they had all amendments. The water, I'm surprised any of it gets down to Mexico from the Colorado or the Rio Grande. But I just wanted to show you, I'm going to be doing a report on Zebulon Pike. And he's one of these guys that he went up to find the headwaters of the Mississippi, came back, came to Colorado. And look at this circle here. That's where I live. Seems like it's been a popular place for their explorers. And he got double-crossed by a spy, but it was 1806, 23 men. They were still figuring out the rivers. And here's, you know, the great sand dunes. Well, we're an endorheic basin. Something is going to go on with this. It's the Mississippi. Something's going on. The fur trade. I wonder if he had something about the Jedediah Smith. He's another one that ended up going to Colorado right there too. You know, the same thing. You know, there's Salt Lake, but here he did stop in the valley right here. So the impact on the Indians, they just killed them all. That's our history. That's our world. There's no doubt about it. Oh, I was just wrapping up. It's so nice to see you, Ella Rose. I know, but you're gonna have to go back and watch it because I'm really at a point right now where I'm on the record. I think something's going down on 314. I don't think it's the 2025 thing where a third of the population goes missing, you know, but I think it's starting. It's right now. And Trump isn't going to make America great again because we're hiding a racist, eugenic, KKK past. Where are we hiding it? On a flat earth nation. with the golden age past and the stones crying out, you are or you are not called, chosen, elect, predestined from before the foundation of the earth. How will you know? You won't let go of the plow. You will be faithful to the end, no matter what happens. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? The Spirit tells us this is true. History's been fake. You're living a lie. It's that whole orphan train thing that's messing with your mind. Was your grandpa and grandma in on it? Probably. They didn't get euthanized. They didn't get lobotomized. They didn't get sterilized. They just fit in. And most of the world is as complacent as they are, happy to be fed Doritos because they're chemically engineered to make you think they're delicious. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nakame. Adios.